Forever Evil Arkham War number 2, written by Peter Tomasi, art by Scott Eaton. So last issue, Bane took over Blackgate, the Arkham Asylum inmates have taken over the rest of Gotham, and Bane wants to take over the rest of the city using the talons that are frozen beneath Blackgate. So we open up with one of Bane's goons ripping apart Man-Bat's army, because I guess he now just has an army of Man-Bats where he is cognizant enough to be a leader. I thought for sure he had gone feral, but regardless, he's like, yeah, well, it's all part of our plan. Go in there. We only have like a few dozen of us, but it's enough for the plan to work. So we see essentially they have this high-tech weaponry along with normal guns that they're attacking all of Bane's men with, and then they pick up the big guy Brute and just lift him up in the sky, impale him with this big machine-looking thing, and then drop him back down. And it's like, all right, anybody who's still alive, crawl back to Blackgate and give Bane a message. Science is going to win this one. So we then cut to Gordon and Detective Pierce, who are hiding out inside of a food truck, looking for any sort of food they can get. And Gordon's like, yeah, look, here's the thing. I know you're kind of new to the force. Gotham has gone through a lot of these, like, apocalypse sort of things. It's pretty much a typical Wednesday, but it's still something that we know how to deal with, and we are going to get through it. And Pierce is like, okay, well then what's the plan? And he's like, all right, here are the blueprints to Blackgate Prison. We're going to do something really stupid, because I think the warden, who we had named was Zorbatos, she's still alive in there. So next we have Bane meeting up with Penguin, and Penguin's like, hey, Bane, I, as mayor of the city, have cleaned up all of your dead goons. Just letting you know, there's a lot of dead goons. And he's like, yes, all right, Penguin, let's have a talk. And they basically just talk back and forth where Bane's like, look, Penguin, I know that you're not on the Arkham Asylum side, but you're also not on the Blackgate side. You're like running right down the middle here. And he's like, yeah, that's what I do. I'm a individual capitalist. I do, that's good business. And Bane's like, all right, so here's the thing. You know that I can make this work for you. Like, this city, if it's run by the crazies, is not going to be good business for you. I'll take over. It'll be under my iron will, and then, you'll still have a seat at the table, more or less. And Penguin's like, all right, I'll give you whatever you need to take out the asylum people. However, one of your Blackgate guys is Emperor Penguin, who was one of my goons that over in Detective Comics I had a real beef with. He's got to die. And Bane's like, yeah, no, that's fine. I don't even know him, but I swear to God, I will kill him just as soon as I get back. And he's like, all right, in return for that, there's something you need to know. You're kind of being sold up the river. And immediately Bane starts like threatening Cobblepot, just being like, tell me what you mean, what's going on? And he reveals that, yeah, we all know that you wanted Blackgate for the talons underneath. Everyone in the city knows that. And because you're not there right now, the Arkham inmates are going to basically take that away from you. So Bane then runs off and is going to deal with that. And then Penguin walks over to the food truck where Gordon is and just is like, hey, Gordon, I got a proposition for you and your partner here. And we cut back to Blackgate and we see full chaos is breaking out. It's all of the Arkham inmates versus all the Blackgate inmates. And the warden is tied up in the middle of things, but is otherwise being ignored. And turns out that the deal that Penguin was offering was basically saying, hey, right now is your only real chance to go and get her. So go do it. So Gordon and Pierce rush in. They manage to grab Zorbatos. They all put on Blackgate prison inmate outfits so that they can blend in better. And then they start making their escape. But we see that the Arkham inmates are like, hey, does anybody know if Scarecrow is done yet? Because we're like barely holding on against these Blackgate people. And we see Scarecrow's down below, basically taking all the talons off of their special little power grid, and is going to have the Man-Bat army carry them away one by one to a separate location that Bane won't know about. But of course, Bane shows back. He just grabs Scarecrow, throws him down on the ground, being like, all right, Scarecrow, you're a piece of crap, but you're not going to take my talons. And all the Man-Bats start to fly away. Seems that almost all of them get away, but the main one that was carried by Kirk Langstrom, he manages to get grabbed by Bane, so that Talon is still left, and he's like, all right, this one's mine, I'm gonna take care of this, and then I'm coming back to crush you and Scarecrow's heads. So Gordon makes his way out along with his partner and Zorbados, and they hop into one of the few working cars, just because it's so old, it doesn't have any technology in it that's been taken off the grid. And Zorbados is like, oh, but what about my partner, my second in command, Donald? How could I lose him? How could I leave him behind? And Gordon starts the car, and then immediately Bane just drops Donald onto the hood of the car, and just like, hey, you and I want the same thing for the moment. So here's Donald. And Bane just walks away, and Gordon's like, that seems very ominous. So yeah, that's the end of the issue. I like it. I'm not saying I dislike it. That hesitation as I was thinking of what to say. It's just, I'm not sure what the structure is here yet. I'm not sure which side is the side that, I mean, not that every story needs a side that you should be rooting for, but I feel like in this vein, there's going to be at least one side that we see is the proper victor, like the side that it makes more sense to come out on top, and I'm not sure where we're going with that yet. Bane obviously has all of his plans, his machinations and whatnot, but even this early on, he's already being shown up by Scarecrow and Man-Bat, which just seems a little bit strange to me. Obviously, he managed to get one of the Talons back, but I don't know. There's just a lot going into it. And then add on top of it, I mean, the cover of the trade kind of spoils a lot, and I'm trying not to let that inflect things, but it's kind of hard to ignore. So all in all, I'm going to say this one's probably I'll give it like a 6.5. I'm waiting for the point where it just gets really into it, where it really sells me on like, yeah, this is this main reason why this book was written. This is the core plot that we're moving ahead with, and I'm just not getting that yet.